Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live stream. And in today's live stream, we're going to be discussing all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news that's come out in the last 24 hours. A couple more loan deals have been sorted. What's the future of Jesse Lingard? Could we be getting a midfielder in? Could we get a deadline day midfielder in? A little bit of news on Rueben Neves, a little bit of news on Chouameni that we'll cover in today's video. But it will mostly be a match preview to Manchester United versus Southampton, talking about which players are likely to start versus Southampton. Could Sancho start? Could Varane start? Will they be involved? What has Ollie had to say again about the game? What is the elite lineup going into the game? How should United line up against Southampton? How can we beat Southampton? And more. So it's a bit of a match preview and a bit of a transfer news video on the channel right now. So do make sure you hit that like button. Let's go for 150 likes before the end of the live stream. And please do subscribe down below if you're new and you're not subscribed. Because if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, do subscribe for match previews, match reactions, watch-alongs, and daily United content on the channel. Please do subscribe. I try and interact with all of you. But I want to get straight into the game, straight into some live chats. So get your live chats down below. I'm going to read a lot of them out. Smash that like button, hit that share button, bada bing, bada boom, and all of that. Niall Kane says, I'm sure I saw the title on the United Stand video that United are in a bid for Mbappe or rumours. There's rumours about United going for Kylian Mbappe next season, but the reason I've not put Kylian Mbappe in this video is because I believe there's no chance of this Kylian Mbappe to Man United rumour happening. I think next season the big name will be in for is Erling Haaland, not Kylian Mbappe. So I didn't really want to waste my time talking about Kylian Mbappe. Look, if I believe there's a chance that Kylian Mbappe to Man United could happen, I will make a video on it. If there's any relevant rumours or news, I'll make a video on it. But for me, we're not going to get Mbappe. Thank you very much for the live chat there. And Lingard may now stay as well. We will be discussing that as well. And we will be talking about the midfield situation at Manchester United. This guy says he hopes Lingard goes either Everton or West Ham and we buy Neves by deadline day. And this is the situation where Man United want a midfielder, but to get a midfielder, we need to sell players. And we need to sell players by deadline day. So if Lingard goes, there's a possibility we can get a midfielder on deadline day. And we do know from multiple reports we're interested in Neves, but we can't go for him if we can't afford him. And a news story came in saying that Neves would cost under £40 million, but United unfortunately couldn't raise the funds to buy Neves. And I'm like, well, if you sell Jesse Lingard and you sell Daniel James, you have more than enough money to buy Rueben Neves. But because of Rashford's injury, we're now reluctant to sell Daniel James. And, we can't get a move for Jesse Lingard. However, I do think there will be a 20 million move for Jesse Lingard come the end of the winter. So if we can get this Jesse Lingard move out, there's always potential for maybe a Neves deadline day deal or a very, very late deal for Rueben Neves, or even another midfielder, probably someone like Sean Longstaff or Matty Longstaff, knowing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because we do know that is a little bit of thing for that. But we will discuss the midfield situation a little bit later. And ESPN said that Manchester United are open to the possibility of signing another player this summer, with the club holding interest in the central midfield and the right-back position ahead of the August 31st deadline. So there's always a potential United could do something before the deadline day as well. Diego says, looks like you're De Gea, Bruno, Juan Mata, and Nemanja Matic had a good time at the Cibo restaurant. Yeah, I saw some pictures of that. It's always good to see players being social. Would I take on Mbappe? I mean, who wouldn't take on Mbappe? Personally, I think I'd rather have Haaland, though, actually. And this guy says Neves will be one of the best signings because he's an all-round complete CEM who can score blistering goals from away. I think Neves would be a brilliant signing for Manchester United. Look, there's players I want more than Neves in that CDM role. But if United got Neves, I would be more than happy for. I think it's a great signing. And the only way we get Rueben Neves this summer is if Jesse Lingard goes. So our potential getting Rueben Neves all depends on Jesse Lingard, because I'm sure Rueben Neves will come to Manchester United. We know that Man United do have a genuine interest in Rueben Neves, but we'd have to get him before deadline day and we'd have to sell to get him. And, if we sold Daniel James, if we sold Jesse Lingard early in the summer, we could easily afford a midfielder. But unfortunately, we are run by idiots. Arsenal expecting Odegaard to do a Bruno for them. You know what actually makes me laugh talking of Arsenal is I see a lot of Arsenal fans saying Bruno is overrated, he's not world class, he's a pen merchant. And I'm like, we were Arsenal before Bruno Fernandes. We were not much better than Arsenal before we got Bruno Fernandes in, were we? And Bruno Fernandes transformed us. Odegaard is a good signing, he's a good beyond player. I think they've got a good value for money for him. But he has not done for Arsenal what Bruno did for United. Because you've got to remember, before Bruno, we were shite. We were shy because Pogba was injured and Rashford was injured. So we were playing Daniel James, Mata and Martial as a front three and sometimes Greenwood. Okay, we were shite before Bruno Fernandes, so the disrespect he gets as well is absolutely insane. This guy says, not happy with only Sancho and Varane only, unless we buy Neves, then I will be over the moon. 3 world-class stars. Yeah, I still think I think Sancho and Varane are 2 great signings. And look, I'd rather do a Man United, spend less money and sign 2 great signings than do an Arsenal and spend £150 million on shite. But I agree, we're in a position where if Man City go out and spend 150 million on Harry Kane, and Chelsea split 100 million on Lukaku, and they're already better than us, so they've already won a Champions League and a Premier League, and we're not addressing the CDM position, which for me is the most important position that United can address, then yeah, I wouldn't be very happy. Guys, please do hit that like button and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all the latest United news. Lou Man, you says, Alice, would it shock you if PSG come ask for Lingard in exchange for Mbappe? All the mods here might fade. I mean, it's never going to happen, but would be crazy. Mbappe not leaving PSG this summer. I thought there was a chance he might go to Real Madrid because they could lose him on a free, but maybe not. Lou Man, says all the great players scared to come to Man United as far as fear leg breaking by Jones in training. I mean, Phil Jones is better than Lionel Messi. You know, just because Phil Jones doesn't have the Ballon d'Ors Lionel Messi has doesn't mean that, you know, Lionel Messi's better than Phil Jones. What can I say? Talking of the Southampton game, Diego says, looks like Hasselhoff prefers a 4-4-2 lineup. His previous lineup were McCarthy in defence, Livramento, Stevens, Sales, Perraud, midfield, Walcott, Ward-Prowse, Romeo, Gempo, and strikers Adam Armstrong. See, look at this lineup that Diego's listed here. So this is the Southampton lineup Diego's listed. Now, Adam and Armstrong are a good strike force. So defensively, we will need to be quite strong. I think they would cause us problems. But let's look at their defence, okay? Livramento, okay. Stevens, okay. Sales, okay. And I've never even heard of this Perraud guy. This is not a good back four. You know, where if Bednarek's not playing, and obviously they lost Vestergaard, their best centre-back, Southampton defensively are not strong. I mean, Walcott, not great. I mean, obviously Ward-Prowse and Romeo, I think, are quite good. Gempo's pretty average. But Ward-Prowse, Romeo, Adam and Armstrong, and probably McCarthy are the only players that I think are decent in their squad. So defensively, Southampton aren't great. And that's why, for me, I think we should play an attacking lineup. Will Ollie play an attacking lineup? I could see Ollie with McTominay and Fred and a back six, but personally, myself, if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I would like to play an attacking lineup because I really think the Southampton defence could be attacked. I really think the Southampton defence could be stretched because I don't think it is a great Southampton defence and all of that. So this guy says, who else can also play alone as a 6 other than Matic at the moment? I believe Lindelof could do it due to prior experience as he was a CDM before he came to United. Lindelof has a little bit of experience as a CDM, but not much. Only 22 games in his whole career he's played as a CM, and you say you would try 4-3-3 versus Southampton. I would try 4-3-3 versus Southampton with Matic and Donny. If I was in charge for the Southampton game, I would be playing a 4-3-3 with Matic and Donny van der Beek because as like the Southampton defence is nowhere near as strong as it used to be. So I'd 100% be playing a 4-3-3. Any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. I'm just going to get my water because I put it over here. But I am back and in the live stream. Any questions for me, please do get them down below. I just wandered off there for a second, but we are back. I just need a drink. I'm so thirsty. Yeah, Shay Adams and Stuart Armstrong is what he means. And Andrew says, I suspect we will rip Southampton apart. Hasselhoff is a good manager, but he likes to go expansive, which we should exploit as they've lost key players. Exactly, 100% agree with this point. I think that we beat Southampton twice last season. We scored 3 goals and a half against them in the second half when we really went out and attacked them when Cavani came on, when we went 2-0 down to win 3-2. But we've also beat Southampton 9-0. So, yeah, I think we're in a very, very strong position to actually, you know, do some harm to Southampton. And Wahab said that Moy said on Sky Sports that a Lingard transfer to West Ham depends on United. Just sell this guy, but Ollie's in a dilemma to keep or sell. Ollie just wants to keep everyone around. I swear he just loves having way too many players. It's like he likes having lots of options. Sell Lingard. You're not going to use him. He can get 20 mil. We can use the Lingard money to get Neves. That's my heart on it. Who made your new profile picture? Ellis from Rio made my new profile picture. I will put a link to Rio in the description at some point on my channel. It's an agency. He works for them and all of that. And Noel Kane says, I'm getting mixed up. Shay Adams, yeah, I answered that question. We need Ruben Neves to win trophies. We need a CDM to win trophies. Whether it's Ruben Neves or not, we need a CDM to win trophies. And yeah. Nick Morris says, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Shaw, Fernandes, Donny, Pogba, Sancho, Greenwood, Martial. Yeah, that would be a brilliant lineup. That would be the lineup that would be amazing to see versus Southampton. Very attacking, very expansive, and I think they will cause a weakened Southampton team a lot of problems. We need Rueben, Neves, and Camavinga. I agree. And this guy's prediction is Man United 10, Southampton 0, because we're better from last year when the score was 9-0. Yeah, I mean, let's hopefully one of them players can get sent off early. Be a nice. If we won 10-0, I'd love it. But my prediction, I think, would be like a 3 or 4-0. Everybody in the live chat, please get your prediction down below. Did I miss a super chat? Did I miss a super chat? I'm very, very sorry if I missed a super chat. I did. Very, very sorry. Are you covering Chelsea Arsenal on the other channel? Possibly. I just need to check that I'm free. It's a game that I don't want to miss, but 50-50. But yeah, sorry for missing the super chat there. I don't know why. It just my chat just scrolled past it. So sorry about that. Any questions? Do get them down below. Pogba could go next year on a free. We definitely need Camavinga and Neves in case Pogba goes on a free. We need a CDM. We do need a CDM. We do need a CDM. But yeah, if everyone could get their score predictions down below for the Southampton game, it'll be really, really interesting to see. I'm just going to read out some of the chats I missed from earlier on because I did seem to miss a lot. Lingard move on August 30th. Look, I could see Lingard moving literally right at the end of August. I could see Lingard getting a move right at the end of August. And this is when Man United go out and they go and sign maybe someone on deadline day. However, I feel like if we're going to sign someone on deadline day, it's going to be someone that we're not even linked to till next week. I feel like we're just going to get linked to a player next week, not be the best player in the world, and we just end up signing on deadline day, which is not really what I want to happen. But you just don't really know with United, do you? They are a complicated team. They don't always make the best signings. I am going to get a lineup up for Southampton, Manchester United, and talk about the lineup that I think we will see as well in just a second. I did want to share some news on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just zoom in on my screen here so you can get this up. And I'm just going to share my screen with you guys because we're also going to be doing a build lineup kind of situation. But in terms of news, hopefully you guys can see this. Bada bing, bada boom. A little bit of United news up on the screen for you guys as well. You were based in Manchester. That's why I'm based in England, but not actually in Manchester. And Leon Goretzka is one, honey. Yeah, I'd love Leon Goretzka at Manchester United. And Andrew says, I don't know if Neves is defensively up to it to help unlock the midfield. He seems more like a DLP. Yeah, I agree to me, but he needs sort of DM something. I think the thing with Ruben Neves, I think he could do a really good job in the pivot with someone, but I haven't seen enough of Ruben Neves actually holding on his own because Wolves play quite a defensive system where he wouldn't be as exposed as much playing for Wolves, say, as he would playing for Manchester United. And Nick Morris says the Mbappe news is for next season along with Haaland, Kane, Lautaro Martinez to replace Cavani next summer. I think next summer's could be really, really interesting. I think we could sign a big signing next summer, which is really ambitious considering we made 2 signings this summer, so we'll probably have a shit summer. But I could generally see United making a semi-ambitious signing next summer, you know, to replace Cavani at the striker role. But again, I think a lot of that depends on how's Martial's season going to pan out, how's Greenwood's season going to pan out. Alice, do you think Ollie will keep swapping Varane and Lindelof this season or mainly stay with Varane? I think Lindelof will start the earlier games, but I'd expect Varane to come in versus Southampton. I think for me, I know Varane's only had a week in training, but again, Donny and MATIC had the whole time in training. McTominay and Fred had less than a week in training, and they started McTominay and Fred. So we can't use the excuse that Lindelof spent more time with him. Is that why he can't use Varane? I think there's a potential that Varane could start versus Southampton. I think Varane will definitely start versus Wolves, and I think there'll be some serious questions over Ollie if Lindelof started over Wolves ahead of Varane. I think there will be some serious questions for Ollie, but I think Varane will start versus Wolves, possibly be involved versus Southampton, but I do expect Jadon Sancho to start, considering he was involved in the pre-season friendly and considering that he did get some minutes in the opening game of the season versus Leeds. I would expect Jadon Sancho to start with Daniel James, and I will get him to the lineup in just a second. Niall Kane says, I saw Camavinga come on as the sub for Rennes in the European French game the other night. They might have been champions of the league or Europa League qualifier. I can't remember. I think it was Europa League qualifier. And Andrew says, not even getting worked up on the Bruno criticisms. Anyone doesn't rate him clearly doesn't know football. And you make a solid point there, Andrew. Anyone that still decides to criticize Bruno Fernandes to this day just doesn't have any ball knowledge. Because the people that still call Bruno Pen Merchant overrated are just jealous. They don't have ball knowledge. That is an absolute fact. Will Donny get starts as Diego? Honestly, no, I don't think he will. I think MCFRED started in the 9-0 win versus Southampton last season, and MCFRED started in the 6-2 win versus Leeds last season. So I think Ollie will use MCFRED again, like he did in Leeds against Southampton. For me, I think Donny and Matic is more and more likely to start versus Wolves, considering they did start versus Wolves last season, and it worked very, very effectively. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see much from Donny and Matic. I would like to see Donny and Matic. I would like to see them play together, but I really don't think we're going to see much of them. Luke Bedlington says Donny needs to start. I agree with you there. I would love to see Donny to start. Personally, I would start Donny van der Beek for this game. I don't know about you. Wahab says, situation of CDM depends on Ollie. He wants his first target, Rice, but it's not possible, so he's resistant on buying or getting another. For me, Pasumas is the idol, but Neves is better than nothing. Look, you know what? This is a really, really good comment here. You make a good point. Maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't worried about getting a midfielder because he wants to get the right midfielder. Maybe the Glazers are saying Chuchemini 40 million, Neves 40 million, Camavinga 30 million, and maybe Ole goes, well, I want Declan Rice for 80 million, so I'd rather wait a year and get the player I want. You know, you never know. Ole could be doing that. You never know. For me, if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'd really be pushing for a CDM and the Glazers to sell players. But yeah, that's always a possibility. Henderson won't be back after international break in September. I know Henderson's injured, but he's a goalie. What exactly is wrong with Henderson? And don't know about Donny to start. Yeah, we don't know if Donny will start. I hope Donny at least gets minutes, like comes on the 60th minute to change the game. Even if Donny doesn't start, I'd like to see him involved in the 60th-odd minute. You know, Matic came on about 64 minutes versus Leeds. I'd quite like to see at least Donny getting 30 minutes. And only 55 likes for 100 likes, guys. So let's go for 100 likes before the end of the live stream. So please do hit that like button if you haven't already. And will Ollie be sacked this season? Well, only time will tell. I think that Ollie won't get sacked this season, but because considering that we started to get the season really well. But, you know, if he doesn't win a trophy, if he doesn't play well, then he will be sacked. We need a DM that has experience in trophies. 100% agree. Is it best waiting to not get a DM this season and getting the right DM next season? This is a question for you guys. I mean, a lot of you do think Ruben Neves is the right DM, but would you wait and just not get a DM this season, meaning we could get Ndidi or Rice next season, or would you just cut the loss and go for someone like Ruben Neves this season? Levitt has gone on loan to Dundee United. Williams has gone on loan to Norwich. Garner is close to joining Forest as well. Ahmad may go on loan or may stay, and I am about to talk about that as well as lineup. So, as you can see my tweets about Manchester United possibly signing another player this summer with an interest in the central midfield and right back positions, as we know. Solskjaer got asked on if Varane and Sancho will start against Southampton, and he said, well, you'll see on Sunday. They worked well. They've had minutes. We've had a very good week ourselves. We'll see who's making the flight down on Sunday. So hinting, I think one of them could start. I think Sancho will start, but Varane won't. Dylan Levitt obviously got a loan move to Dundee United. Brandon Williams very, very close to going to Norwich, got his medical. We know from Fabrizio Romano that Chuchemini will not join Manchester United this summer window, which is a shame because he's a player that I would definitely want and love at Manchester United. But Romano has pretty much confirmed that that will not happen and all of that. And obviously, just in that, James Garner is delighted to have renewed his contract at Manchester United. Brighton, Aston Villa and Leeds all recently inquired about him, but never once did he consider leaving, which is interesting because there was obviously rumours that James Garner could possibly leave Manchester United. So that is a little bit of news coming in for you guys. I did think I would cover that, but I do want to get right into the Southampton game and what's going on with that. So please do make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this video. This Sifera, however you say your name, says our strongest possible lineup would be a 4-3-3. Shaw, Maguire, Varane, Wan-Bissaka. I agree with the back four. Pogba, Neves, Fernandes, Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho. Bold lineup, but you know what? Part of me agrees with that as well. Dean recovering from lingering COVID situations. And as Diego says, if you are new, please subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. We're super, super close to 14.3k. We actually hit 14.3k in yesterday's live stream, then 3 people unsubscribed. So we're 3 subscribers away from 14.3k. So please do subscribe if you're not subscribed. But yeah, Henderson is out. Ponapas says, do you think United can make a deal inside 2 weeks, given how long they've taken for all the previous deals over the last 10 decades? If Man United want to sign a player, they will. If there's pressure on the Glazers, they will. You've got to remember, on deadline day last year, we pretty much got Tellers and Cavani done, Amad Diallo and Ted Palestri done. United can do deals. United just do deals really, really slowly because we're run by idiots. We did Pellistri, Amad Diallo, Cavani and Telles in the last 3 days of the transfer window, remember? Because we didn't get Sancho and we panicked. We only got Donny Van. We got to the last week of the transfer window, then we had to go for Telles, Cavani, Amad and Pellistri. They weren't done to the final day. So United could get 1, 2, 3 deals done on the final deadline day if they wanted to. So it's very, very possible that United can get a deal done, even if they don't have as much time as normal. Hamid State says MCFRED need a lot of space, should be all over Neves. You know what? I agree. I think we should be all over CDM. Some people blame Pogba for the goal we scored versus Leeds, but for me, MCFRED should be covering that area. And Alice, is Levitt any good? Went on loan to Scotland. I rate Dylan Levitt so much. I think that he would be really good in a Championship loan. But obviously, he wasn't great when he went on loan to Charlton. I really like Dylan Levitt. I think he could have a future at Manchester United, and I think, you know, he needs the right loan. I don't think he's been given the right loans. I would have loaned him out to someone like Notts Forest, like we did with Ghana. I think Levitt has potential to be better than Ghana. I think just because Ghana's had more successful loan spells, when Levitt's actually played for the first team, which isn't much, he's really, really good. So yeah, I'm a big admirer of Dylan Levitt, and I think, you know, he did make the right loan move. So yeah. Ghana will be another new CDM for 22-23 if his level improves dramatically. Yeah, Ghana's only able to play in the pivot right now. He can't hold, but maybe in a few years, Ghana could maybe do what Prime MATIC could do. Declan said he'd go for a 4-2-3-1. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Shaw, Van der Beek, McTominay, Fernandes, Pogba, Sancho, Greenwood. I would love to see that exact lineup, but I would play MATIC over McTominay just because we know Donny and MATIC works really well. But that would be my exact lineup. And I will get into the lineup. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will play in just a second. Does United want Trippier? Not anymore because Dalot is staying. I'd be shocked if we got Trippier. To sell Dalot and get Trippier, I think would be really, really bad business. And just subscribe. Thank you very much for the sub. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we are 2 subscribers away from 16.3k. We did hit that yesterday, and 3 annoying people did unsubscribe, but it is what it is, isn't it? And hope Levitt and Ghana do well on their loans. I love them. Yeah, they're 2 great players. Obviously, James Garner could go back to Nottingham Forest, could go to someone like Brighton. You know, I think what we should do with Brighton is we should go for Basuma. If we sell Jesse Lingard for 20-25 million quid, we should offer that money for Basuma and a little bit more, offer maybe 40 million for Basuma and Garner on loan for a season. I think that's what we should do with Brighton, because Brighton are one of the clubs that are interested on a potential Garner loan move. But obviously, I think Notts Forest is possibly the most likely move. Please keep hitting that like button, guys. If you have not hit that like button, please do hit that like button down below, by the way. Let's go for 150 likes before the end of the live stream. So keep hitting that like button. I'm going to go hit that like button on my phone. Let's push. We're on 60 likes now. I was just checking how many likes we have. Let's push for 150 likes. So keep smashing that like button. And a win on Sunday, we equal Arsenal's 27 away unbeaten record. We've got a win. Arsenal have got nothing in their life right now. They've lost to a newly promoted Brentford. You know, they're going to probably get backed by Chelsea and Man City and have 0 points from 3 games. All Arsenal have is hoping that Man United lose. That's literally all Arsenal have to live for now, is hoping that Man United lose, because their club's shit. So we can't lose, and we've got to beat that Arsenal record 100%. Will Mejbri get playing time? I doubt that Mejbri will get playing time this season. I'd like him to get playing time. I think he's a good player. But you've got to think with Mata staying around, with Dan James staying around, you know, there's already a Langer, Shaw Lethierry, Amad Diallo, and possibly even Pellistri, who has gone out on loan ahead of him in the queue. As much as I think Hannibal could maybe have a Greenwood-like impact season, what Greenwood did 2 years ago, and break his way through, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. But I'm a big fan of Hannibal. Wahab says, I would rate United's chances of challenging for the title by December, which Pogba is taking into perspective regarding signing a new deal or not. Pogba at 28 does not want to risk it. I think come December, if we're in a title race and Paul Pogba's playing the best football of his career, he will sign a new deal. But let's say we drop points versus Southampton and we end up dropping points to a team like Newcastle, and we end up dropping points to a team like Everton, and come September we're sitting in 4th, 5th, not looking like we're going to win the title. I think Paul Pogba will not stay unless he's playing the best football of his career. And if he's playing the best football of his career, I don't think we'd be sitting in 5th. Real Madrid, £1 million release clause for Benzema. Thoughts? Well, that's because they have to put a release clause on him and they don't want to get rid of him. No one would pay that. Man United over Arsenal any day of the week. And Alice, do you see Van der Beek getting a decent amount of game time this season? Now, I've said this. Once Varane starts to start games ahead of Lindelof, I think we'll see more of Van der Beek. I think Van der Beek, a lot of Van der Beek's role is but basically, MCFRED's role was Lindelof protection, because we don't really see MCFRED when Maguire and Tuanzebe play together at the back. We never see MCFRED when Maguire and Bailly play at the back. And I think because Varane's got pace, when Varane plays at the back, we won't really see MCFRED. I think MCFRED is just because when Maguire and Lindelof play together, protection. I think when we have Varane in, Ollie will be more likely to risk playing Van der Beek than MCFRED, because Varane doesn't need that protection that Lindelof has. Varane and Maguire should work better as a partnership than Lindelof and Maguire, because when Maguire plays next to Stones, he's brilliant. When Maguire plays next to Bailly, he's really good. But when Maguire plays next to Lindelof, he's shit. I think Varane will help make Maguire better. I think Varane will improve us as well. And I also think with Varane, you don't need that MCFRED protection. And because you don't need that MCFRED protection, I think there'll be a lot of opportunities later in the season for Donny to start. He may not start the first couple of games of the season, but I think he will start a lot more come end of the season. You know, he said a pre-season with Ollie. He's played really, really well in pre-season. Whenever he's given a chance, he's arguably one of the best players. It would be very unfair for Ollie not to give him an opportunity, considering that he's played well, he's bulked up, he's had a whole pre-season with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I do expect Donny van der Beek to get a lot more game time come end of the season. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. By the way, we are 2 subscribers away from hitting the lovely 16.3k, so please do subscribe if you're new to the channel and not subscribed. Greenwood's going to be a regular starter. I think it's going to be hard for Cavani to get a start and get right back in the team with the form Greenwood's in. He looked really good at the end of last season, and he looked fantastic versus Leeds. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Will Greenwood push Cavani out the team? And Andrew says, Garner gives me some Carrick vibes, though. He played a bit more expansive for Forest last term. Yeah, Garner could potentially be the Carrick replacement. For me, we haven't had an out-and-out CDM the last 2 seasons that we need. Obviously, Matic is one, but he hasn't been able to do the job that we wanted. Alice, will the points be good enough versus the Saints? No, because Southampton have lost Ings, they've lost Vestergaard. Southampton are not as strong as they were last season. A team we beat twice last season, a point would not be good enough because we're stronger, and I think they're a weaker team. So no, a point for me would not be good enough against Southampton. Do get your score predictions down below for Manchester United versus Southampton. I can bet with confidence that Manchester United will win trophies, even the treble, if they get Neves, Sancho, Varane at once. Well, if we got Neves, say we get Neves this window and we sell Lingard and we can get Neves in by deadline day, then I think Manchester United would win a trophy with Ruben Neves. But I don't know if we're going to get him because I can't put enough trust in this board to make that third signing. We know from Fabrizio Romano that Tchouaméni is not going to happen, as we can see on the screen. And, you know, we just don't know about other signings. Nick says, get Basuma with James in exchange and keep Ahmad as backup to Sancho. Yeah, this is exactly what I do, but we know Ollie won't do that. I mean, I'd love to see that. But again, we know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't do that. Why we need Neves? Well, we need a CDM. Is Neves the CDM we need? He will improve us. I think Ndidi would be the CDM that we needed personally. But look, we need a CDM. If we can't get Ndidi, we can't get Rice. Why don't we go for Neves? And Andrew says he doesn't know about Levitt. He's a good passer of the ball, but he needs to get back on track. Didn't get the minutes in the English League One and ended up in Croatia. Yeah, but very brave to go out to Croatia on loan. Clearly is really trying to have an ambitious career and wants to get as much minutes as possible. I think he's got the right attitude, but I think we could risk him on a championship loan. And Shane says, I generally think out of business is done. As for incomings, I'm concerned. I hope we get Neves. I've been saying for ages now, I want them. Basuma 35-40 million are no-brainers, but can't see the club doing it. Yeah. Neves and Basuma would both be available for £35 to £40 million. And if you sell Daniel James and you sold Jesse Lingard, both of them would raise the money for Neves or raise the money for Basuma in a second. But United think that it's okay to keep Jesse Lingard and Daniel James around that aren't really going to add much to this team, you know. As much as I like both players and I think they're decent players and they're Premier League quality players, I don't think they're going to add much team to the season. You know, Pogba, Bruno, Sancho, Cavani, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, all better than them, all in the same position. You know, if Donny van der Beek can't get minutes, do you know what I mean? I think that it's one of them situations where we need to sell them to get a CDM. And like, for me, it's a no-brainer. Nick Morris says Meshbury, Alanga, Sholatiri and a few others will play early league and FA Cup games, I would say. Yeah, definitely. The thing is, we've got a lot more depth than normal. So the thing is, we might be using Mata and Donny in those League Cup games, but I would like to see some of these names featured in not World Cup games, in the League Cup games. And Alice, would you mind helping Arsenal by loaning Van der Beek so they can at least get into Europe? In fact, Arsenal could do very, very well with Van der Beek. I think Van der Beek would be a great signing for Arsenal. And as I said in yesterday's live stream, if Manchester City have Van der Beek, I'm pretty sure that Van der Beek will be playing quite a few minutes for Manchester City. I just don't think Ollie really rates him. I could see Pep Guardiola rotating Van der Beek in that Man City squad quite a lot. I think Van der Beek would start for any other team in the Premier League. You know, Man United is stupid not to start. I think any other team in the Premier League, Van der Beek would be pretty much starting week in, week out. I think he would get into Chelsea, even though they've got better midfield. I think he would get into Man City because we know that Pep likes to rotate. You know, I think that is the situation with Van der Beek, and it's very, very frustrating that what United are doing with him. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. We are going to get into the starting lineup for Southampton in just a second. So if you want to see the starting lineup for the Southampton game, do stay tuned. Neves is necessary because it's much more efficient to have one guy at CDM and free up the other 5 attacking players. 100% agree with that comment. And January comes soon enough. If Pogba leaves for a free again, that's embarrassing, a bit ridiculous. We couldn't even figure it out this summer. Yeah, it's really, really embarrassing if we lose Pogba on a free. We're taking the risk to keep Pogba for another year and hope he signs. And with the way Pogba's playing, a lot of teams will want him, and we just got to hope he commits. We have offered Paul Pogba a new $400k a week deal. It'll be interesting to see what he responds to the deal and how he responds to the deal. But I'd really, really hope that we do go in for Paul Pogba and could possibly get the deal done. I think he's a fantastic player. And if Paul Pogba plays like he did versus Leeds for a lot of games this season, give Paul Pogba £1 million a week. I don't care, because on his day he is absolutely quality. Eponymous says, if Varane and Van der Beek play, who will the CDM be? Matic, definitely. And Nicotso said, I would keep Ahmad, sell Dan James and buy Neves as Basuma. I 100% agree with you. That's what I would do, but United will never do it. Any questions for me, keep plopping them down below. But Sal was a world-class DM. He's a box-to-box, really, not a DM. He could play in the pivot, but he could never hold on his own. And I think that's why United aren't really heavily in for Sal, is because he could never really hold on his own. I think that's the situation with it. Hey, Alice, what is your FPL? I mean, look, my FPL team or my FPL code. That is my FPL code. It's not too late to join. 4FX4AB. That is the FPL code on the screen, if that's what you were wondering. I would show you my FPL team, but I'm not logged in on my computer, so it would just take a minute. Fati or Mbappe, stronger or weaker than Rashford the left wing? Mbappe's better than Rashford, but Fati isn't. And Shane says, 3-0 versus Southampton. Our business this window is done, I feel, but I would love Neves. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like we might not sign anyone else this window. We know we're not getting Tchouaméni. I think we only get Neves if it's a really late deadline day signing, because we managed to sell Lingard. But I feel like the signings we made are good, but I don't think we've done enough this window, and I think that our business could be done. Andrew says, if I had a choice and the player was willing, I would still take Camavinga. His defensive stats are excellent, has huge potential. Yeah, I would take Camavinga pretty much over the majority of players we've been linked to. You know, I would love that Camavinga to choose us. And if Camavinga decides he wants to come to Manchester United, I think he could come to us this summer. But I don't think Camavinga wants to come to Manchester United, because I truly think if Camavinga wanted to come to Manchester United this summer, the deal would have been done, because at the end of the day, he can't go to the Spanish teams because financially they can't afford him. PSG, they've got Messi, they're financial fair play. It's going to be hard for him to get a move to PSG. So, yeah, it's a situation where I think Camavinga doesn't want United, and it's frustrating because I think he would have been a perfect sign for us. He's obviously a dream signing, but I don't think he's clearly got any interest in going to Manchester United. So it is a shame. Let me know who your ideal midfield target would be, by the way. If you could bring any midfield target in for Manchester United at CDM, who would you play? Basuma, Neves, Camavinga? Would you just wait another season to see if you could get an Ndidi or Declan Rice-like player? Who would be your realistic signing? If it's a signing that would cost more than £50 million, it would be go for them next summer. Let me know in the live chat. Rebuild says we need a proper striker. There's no alternative. Cavani is old and Martial's bang average most days. I think, look, we're in a situation where, look, we've got three decent players that can play striker. Martial, Greenwood, Cavani. Whether you rate them or not, they're not the last of our worries. We could score goals. Manchester City won the league last season with an old Aguero and a crap Jesus. You know, you're saying we've got an old Cavani and a crap Martial. Look, Man City can win the league with that kind of striker partnership, and we've got a young Greenwood coming through. I think this summer, we don't focus on striker. I think next summer, if Greenwood isn't quite up for the striker role, if Martial's been poor again, and we do need to replace Cavani, then that's when I would go for someone like Erling Haaland. Personally, myself, I would say I don't think we need a striker right now. I don't think a striker is our priority as of now. Cavani is still world-class. Yeah, Cavani's still world-class. He just can't play week in, week out. We need ready to make a DM like Neves, Rice, Basuma, 100%. And smash that like button. Let's get the video to 100 likes. Any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. Garner is better than Fred. Look, I'd like to agree with you, but I don't agree with you with that. Sal is the best box-to-box. We've completely dropped our interest in Sal. We weren't interested in Sal, but we completely dropped the interest in Sal. And let's get Alice Talks Football to 17,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe down below and get the lineup you would play versus Southampton in the live chat. So comment who would you play versus Southampton. I'm interested to see your lineups. Nipum said he would play David De Gea, Alan Bissaka, Maguire, Varane, Shaw, Van der Beek, Pogba, Greenwood, Bruno, Sancho, Cavani. That would be a nasty lineup. And I do say go attacking versus Southampton. You know, they've lost Vestergaard. Is Bednarek out? Is Bednarek out or not? Because he didn't play last game, as Diego said. Because Bednarek and Vestergaard are their best two centre-backs. And I don't know what the situation with Bednarek is as well. So, yeah, I would say go very, very attacking versus Southampton. I think Ghana will go out on loan. Brighton are interested, and that's why I say go for Basuma, maybe throw Daniel James or Jesse Lingard in the I think Lingard is too good for Brighton, but I think Daniel James would suit Brighton. For me, look, sell Lingard, buy a midfielder. You know, if you sell Lingard, you've got time to get someone like Neves, someone like Basuma by deadline day, that'll be less than £40 million. Even if you only get 20 million for Jesse Lingard, you're still it's still like 20 million for Lingard, then you just got to spend an extra 15 million to get a midfielder in. And, you know, we've been told that Camavinga's a dream signing. It wouldn't depend on outs for us to get Camavinga. So I don't know why if we realise that Camavinga doesn't want us, then Camavinga's probably not going to come to us this summer. Why don't we invest the 40-30 million we put away to go for Camavinga, because he's a dream signing, into Neves, into Basuma. You know, if you sell Jesse Lingard, you could get Neves or Basuma by deadline day. And if Brighton are interested in James Garner on loan, you could even use that to maybe reduce Basuma's price. My only situation is people are talking about £40 million for Basuma, and for me, Basuma's better than Ben White. He's got more potential than Ben White. I think Basuma is Brighton's best player. So I'm thinking if Arsenal had to pay 50 million for Ben White, and I know he is English, so there is that English tax. A part of me does go, well, is Basuma really going to cost us 40 million? We know Ruben Neves would be 35 million. And I actually prefer Basuma to Ruben Neves. I do think Basuma is better because in the Brighton system, he has more to do. You know, the Wolves system does protect Neves a bit last season. Nuno was very defensive. But then I look at the situation, I go, actually, you know what? Ruben Neves could be very, very good value for money at £35 million. You know, the situation is we either wait till next summer and we go for an Ndidi Rice-like type CDM, which would probably be the perfect CDM for Manchester United, or we are a midfield away from challenging for a title. We can't afford Rice and Ndidi, which are the main CDMs, but Neves could do a job for a lot cheaper. And I think that's what United should do. And to do that, 15 million Daniel James, just sell him to Brighton. Sell him. I know Rashford's injured, but we've got Sancho. Like, why are we keeping Daniel James around? We can even keep Ahmad around. Jesse Lingard, £20-25 million. The money you get for Lingard and Daniel James could easily be invested in Ruben Neves. And that is what I'd love Manchester United to do. But you just don't know with Man United. We are run by a load of idiots. Any questions for me, please do put them down below in the live chat. I am going to show you my predicted lineup on the screen for the game in a second. Show you the lineup I think we will play versus Southampton. This guy said we definitely could have done more. Ghana is better than Fred. Some comments I read earlier. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and read out a couple of comments that I missed. New subscriber, great content. Yeah, thank you everybody that does subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 17,000 subscribers, so please do subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And Andrew said if he wanted us, which he doesn't, I would want Camavinga, but reasonable signing, probably go for Basuma. Yeah, Man United Camavinga could come to Man United right now. I don't think it's about selling Jesse Lingard with Camavinga, because we know it's a dream signing. We know that from Fabrizio Romano, but I don't think Camavinga wants United. And Lou Manu says, Alice, I would force one of our deadwoods into a CDM, just like Sir Alex turning Giggs into a CDM for a couple of games before giving me your extension. Did Sir Alex do that? I might have been too young to remember that. Sky Sports taught that Jones is an Ollie's plan. I don't think Phil Jones is an Ollie's plan. I'm sorry, you got Varane in. We've got Varane in. How can if Bailly, who can't play over Lindelof, and Bailly is a mile ahead of Phil Jones, and you've got Varane in, there's no way Phil Jones is in our plan. Ollie's just saying that to be nice because he doesn't want to talk shit about players. Varane and Phil Jones on Sunday. If Varane had to start his first ever Manchester United game with Phil Jones as his partner, Ollie would be setting him up to fail. He would be setting him up to fail. Andrew says he likes Basuma. He played well against us. My concern is I don't know how high his ceiling is, especially since he's almost 25. You make a good point there. Is he a Premier League winning player? But then Grealish is only 25, and last season was the season we realised Grealish is a top quality player. So you never know. And United, I've been watching Benfica striker Carlos Vinicius. Isn't he a Spurs player? It wasn't Vinicius a Spurs player. Was that a loan move? Or am I being silly? Matty Boy says, or is it number 4? I can't remember what we're talking about. And I'm just trying to read a few more comments. Jalen Sanchez says, if we wait till next summer, then the Glazers will say we cannot afford Haaland and Rice and Ndidi. That's a true story. Then that's the thing. Next summer, I think United are going to go out for Haaland. I've discussed this in a lot of my live streams. I look at the situation and I go, if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, that's them sorted. Barcelona financially in the mud, so that's the Spanish league out of the debate. I don't think you would want to go to Atletico. boom. PSG have got Messi, they're content. However, they might want Haaland. However, the French league is a dead league. I think the French league's a league you go to if you're French and you want to step up a club in the French league, or if you want to retire. So I think PSG would be out of it. If Man City get Kane, they'd be out of it. Chelsea have got Lukaku, they're out of the Haaland race. I think he wouldn't go from Dortmund to Bayern. I think he wants to leave the Bundesliga. So for me, it would be between Juventus, who financially aren't strongest, but they would be looking to replace for a Cristiano Ronaldo striker that summer, Liverpool and United. And Liverpool probably do need a striker. So it'd be between Juventus and United for Haaland. But then I also go, if United have a good season next season and we look like a good team and we get someone like Pogba to stay, with Jadon Sancho already having a good relationship with Haaland, and Haaland has a good link-up play with Jadon Sancho, and Ollie having a good relationship with Haaland, and Haaland probably wanting to come to the Premier League because it is the best league in the world, I think United would be in a very, very strong position to get Erling Haaland next summer. And another reason I worry about CDM is, like, we should have got a CDM last summer. We didn't address the position. The season before, when we sold Herrera, I was like, we need at least a midfielder to replace Herrera. We didn't get one. So we went 2 summers that we should have got a CDM, we didn't get one. It looks more and more likely that we're not going to get a CDM this summer when we need one this summer. And I just go, if we get Haaland next summer, are we going to just say 70 million on Haaland, can't afford anyone else because we can't sell our Deadwood as well? I think that is the worrying fear as well. Guys, please do hit that like button, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new to the channel. Everybody get the lineup that you would play versus Southampton in the chat. I'm really interested to see what lineup you would play, and please do hit that like button. We're 15 likes away from 100 likes. We're going to go for 150 likes, so everybody slap that like button. But De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Matic, Van der Beek, Bruno, Pogba, Greenwood, Sancho versus Southampton, and this is the lineup that I would like to see actually. And what I'm going to do on my screen is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share a new screen with you guys. Bear with me just a second. We're going to get the lineup versus Southampton up. We're going to get the lineup versus Southampton up. So let me get this up on the screen. Bada bing, bada bing. Can you see this here? Can you see this? This is the lineup that I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will play. But as you can see, there's Matic, Donny, and Varane written in just under these players. So this is the lineup I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will play. And then Matic, Donny, and Varane are written in because that's who I would play. So the players under are the players I would play. That is the lineup I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will play versus Southampton. The reason I say McFred over Donny and Matic, even though we'd like to see Donny and Matic in a bit of rotation from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is personally the pure fact that McFred were involved in the 9-0 win versus Southampton. McFred played very, very well versus Leeds. I don't think Ole will drop them. However, I think we'll see Donny and Matic as a duo versus Wolves because we've seen that before and all of that. Obviously, Manchester United players were spotted out today in Cheshire, Bruno, Cheshire, I just said that wrong, Cheshire, Bruno, De Gea, Matic, Mata, all having a little bit of an outing. Good to see a bit of team bonding there. And Jones not giving up number 4 to Varane is disgraceful. Phil, you won't even get to be on the pitch. Never mind, watch at the bench. Phil Jones has gone a year and a half without playing any first team minutes for Manchester United. I think the last time Phil Jones played for Man United was against Tranmere Rovers, and then before that is when we conceded 3 goals to Sheffield United, and before that was when we conceded 3 goals to Manchester City. You know, Phil Jones' last 3 games for Man United have been Tranmere Rovers, and then 2 games where we conceded 3 goals where he was absolutely atrocious. Do you remember the Phil Jones offside versus Sheffield United? Was just awful. And all of that. Giggs turned into a centre mid because his legs were going as he aged. I feel like I vaguely remember that, but I wouldn't have analysed it because I was like 8, 9, I was like 10 in Giggs' final year. But yeah, I just realised that he had a YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel, so do subscribe if you're new, by the way. And Manchester United must use their transfer philosophy, always sell the oldest and weakest and buy the strongest if we're to win trophies. Serial like Sir Alex Ferguson, I agree. We need to be more tough with Deadwood. I think, you know, the fact that Phil Jones is still at the club, I think is worrying. But I like Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is a good player. Phil Jones isn't a good player. Jesse Lingard is a very good player, but he's not going to get minutes at Manchester United. And although he's a very, very good player with a very, very good attitude, and he would probably start for the majority of top 6 clubs other than Man United, City and Chelsea, I think you do need to sell Jesse Lingard because for his career, he's not going to be playing week in, week out. You've got Bruno, Sancho, Rashford to compete with, mate. I know you play well for West Ham, and I know you've done well in pre-season, but for me, I would sell Jesse Lingard. I think we need to be harsh. We need to say, look, I can't guarantee you game time. I'm going to have to sell you. I think we should sell Daniel James. I know there's a risk with Rashford's injury, but We saw in pre-season the youngsters show up. Daniel James. Now, I think Daniel James is Premier League quality. I think he'd thrive at Brighton. I think he'd thrive at Leeds. I think he's a good, hard-working player, good attitude, always puts in a shift. But I will be selling Daniel James. So I'll be saying, look, mate, you're not good enough. I want to give Amad Diallo more chances. That's going to affect you because I think Amad Diallo could be better than you. I thought Pelestri, Sholatiri, Hannibal, and Alanga looked better than you in pre-season. I would say to Daniel James, you need to go. I think we need to be more harsh on these players that we can't guarantee game time. I think we shouldn't be offering Mata and Lee Grant 1-year extensions. I think we should be saying to Jesse Lingard and Daniel James, look, we're not going to pay you. You've got to go unless you don't want to play. Because if you sell Jesse Lingard, you sell Daniel James, you raise £40 million. 35 to £40 million for those two players, possibly more, but I'm saying £40 million is quite realistic. £40 million could get you Ruben Neves. £40 million can get you Chuchemini, but obviously we're not going in for him. £40 million could maybe get you Basuma, that when you see Ben White 50 million, you maybe not. £40 million could have got you two Sumes, who's gone to Leicester, who won League 1 with Lille. Cooper Miners was available for £20 million from the Dutch team. AZ Alkmaar, is it? There's a lot of players out there that are £40 million or less, that maybe they're not Ndidi or Rice type CDM, but they would definitely improve us when we don't have a CDM other than Matic as well. And we could just rotate with Matic. We could get a young CDM that could rotate with Matic and learn the role. Axman says buy Varane and then let Lindelof play before him. Lindelof should be his backup. Exactly. I think Lindelof could be involved in this game ahead of Varane just because, Varane wasn't involved in the pre-season game. So maybe he isn't 100% ready. But then I say my theory is that, one sec. My theory is that even though Varane hasn't had a pre-season with Man United, Donny and Matic had a full pre-season with Man United, whereas McTominay barely played and Fred barely played, but then Fred and McTominay start first game of the season. So I think it would be really unfair for Ollie to, let's say, come out and say the reason that Varane isn't playing is because he hasn't had a pre-season when Donny and Matic had a pre-season and they didn't get a chance to play as well. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video. By the way, we're on the road to 17,000 subscribers, so if you are new and not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, because there will be a watch along to Manchester United versus Southampton on Sunday. I will do a watch along reaction to the match. There will be a transfer news update video tomorrow talking about some more transfer news that comes out tomorrow, and again there will be a match reaction to Manchester United versus Southampton after the game. And then there will be more transfer updates this week. We've obviously got 11 days left of the transfer window. So for the next 11 days, there will be daily transfer content regarding ins and outs at Manchester United. If there's any movement on us signing a player, if we go and talk to any players, if we're close to signing a player, if we sign a player, if we sell a player, I'll be live to update you guys. So if you're new to the channel and you want to stay updated with all the transfer news throughout the transfer window, just stay up to date on what's going to happen in the final 10-11 days of the transfer window so you don't miss anything. Please do subscribe. By the way, Matt Judge will probably buy Cowabunga, and I would have been nice to get Abraham, but he went to Rome. It's okay, striker. We have squad depth. You know what? I would have not, if we got Tammy Abraham for 30 million quid, I wouldn't have been that vexed by it, even though we need a CDM. Diego here with a small stat. If you're on Manchester United and avoid defeat, I'm sure you will. You will match Arsenal's top flight record of 27 games unbeaten away from home, and way to kick Arsenal when they're down. Arsenal lose to newly promoted Brentford, probably going to get battered by Man City and Chelsea in the next 2 games. And then let's say if we can overtake their away record, be lovely. Because you know what? I feel a bit sorry for Arsenal, but God, I love bantering Arsenal. Man City is our rivals, Liverpool our rivals, but Arsenal, they're our banter rivals. Varane hasn't played yet as he wanted to train only and get his fitness up before playing. That's exactly why I've put Lindelof ahead of Varane, but I do think this would be a good game for Varane to start. I think Varane has to start versus Wolves, though. We've brought him to be a first-team player. I think he has to start versus Wolves. And I also think we could rest McFred versus Wolves, because I know this is a Southampton preview, but I'm thinking to Wolves, and I'm thinking, Ollie, you need to rotate a bit more. I'm thinking, okay, Donny and Matic worked brilliant versus Wolves when we beat Wolves last game of the season with a weakened team. And Donny and Matic, Donny was man of the match versus Wolves. Donny van der Beek was man of the match versus Wolves, when we beat them last game of the season. So I think Ollie has, if Ollie's playing McFred first game of the season without pre-season because they played well versus Leeds last season, if Ollie plays McFred because they played in the 9-0 win versus Southampton last season, Ollie can play Donny and Matic versus Wolves. And because Donny and Matic are playing, he won't want to play Lindelof without McFred in front of him. So I think Varane's first start has to be versus Wolves. For me, look, I think Lindelof will play because Varane wasn't involved in pre-season. Personally, I would play Varane. Personally, I'd play Donny and Matic because I think we can play a more expansive attacking style of football. And with Southampton's defence being weakened after selling Vestergaard, I think we should attack them. However, saying that, Wolves game, you have to play Matic, Donny and Varane. This lineup that I've played, if you remove Matic, Donny, Varane, would have to play versus Wolves. I suspect Sancho starts if he is subbed off after 60 minutes or so. I think Sancho has to start. I'm sorry, like he's had a pre-season game, he's had some minutes. There's levels between Sancho and Dan James. It's not even like Sancho's better than Dan James. I hate saying this one, but Sancho is clear of Dan James. It's like having Jack Grealish, okay, in your squad, and you go in, you know what? I'm gonna start. Oh, who am I gonna start? Someone crap. Daniel James. Sancho's that kind of player. You know, if Pep Guardiola had Daniel James, would he be starting Daniel James ahead of Jack Grealish first and second game of the season? No. So even though Ollie likes Daniel James, we shouldn't be starting Daniel James ahead of Jadon Sancho. He's our £72 million signing. He is clear of Daniel James. For me, Sancho has to start. If Sancho doesn't start, I will be a little bit annoyed. If Sancho doesn't start, I will be annoyed. Sometimes talks about Palhinha for CDM. Look, we haven't really been linked to him, but I would actually take Palhinha as a CDM at Manchester United. Breaking news, Pape Matar is signing for Spurs. Is that true? Can someone update me on that? I know he was linked to City, really, really young CDMs. But if that's true, then Spurs have had a great chance to win it because I think Christian Romero is a baller as well. Of course, make sure you're subscribed if you're not. The difference is City have many scoring options from midfield. United have much less. Bruno, Pogba, Sancho, who else? But we've got a lot of scoring options from midfield. McTominay can get forward and score goals, but the reason McTominay doesn't get forward a lot and score goals is because he has to play really deep with Fred. McTominay versus Leeds in the 6-2 got forward. What did you do? Score goals. McTominay versus Southampton score goals. When McTominay plays as a box-to-box, he scores goals like Gundogan. You know, if we had a CDM, it wouldn't matter. Like Manchester City won the league without a proper striker last year because they had a CDM which allowed their midfielders to get forward and score goals. I think that's what United should do. Varane video on Twitter getting a new haircut. I would say he's starting tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't think Varane will start, but look, I want Varane to start. I hope he starts. I think Sancho will start. I think Varane will be on the bench just because I think he should start because, you know, he already dropped Maguire in at the deep end first game of the season. Ollie dropped Wan-Bissaka in. Ollie dropped Bruno in at the deep end first game of the season. But Ollie's come as a player that doesn't really like to change things. And I think he could start Varane. I'd like him to start Varane. But for me, Sancho 100% has to start. And I think Varane has to start. But I think Sancho has to start more than Varane because Sancho's actually played minutes for us and had a bit of a pre-season game. But yeah, absolutely mad one. I did not witness the 99 treble because I was born in 2000. I was born a year too late because I was born in mid-2000. I suspect Varane will start when he is ready. He is ready for the weekend. I think he will start. Crazy few weeks for him. Could see him set back a bit. I think Varane will 100% start versus Wolves. And if he doesn't start versus Wolves, that's to be questions because we go into an international break with our new signing not starting a game. But I think, I don't know. I think Sancho will 100% start, but I wouldn't put money on Varane starting. Guys, please do smash that like button. We're going to see if we can get 150 likes by the end of the live stream. We're on 96 likes, so I just need 4 more of the 70 of you guys watching to hit that like button. We've got 70 watching. If 4 of you hit that like button, we'll hit 100 likes, and then we can push for 150 likes by the end of the live stream. So please do that. Jadon Sancho said last season when we played Southampton, Ollie always played Donny, so I have a good feeling he could start in midfield. Yeah, the thing is, Donny played really well versus Southampton when he played, so possibly. And do you think Varane will play the full 90 minutes? He's a centre-back, so centre-backs do normally play the full 90 minutes when they play. Spurs lost the Europa match. Are Spurs out of the Conference League? Was that match a qualifier? Can someone actually let me know? That was what I was wondering. Are Spurs completely out of the Europa Conference League because they lost that match? Or was this like a group stage, not really that important match? Alice, how and when did Arsenal become our main rivals? I thought we were friends with them. No, Liverpool are our main rivals, followed by City. Arsenal are our Twitter rivals. They're our banter rivals. They're our social media rivals. And rotating doesn't only mean dramatically different starting 11s. It also means proper substitutes, not 5 minutes at the end of matches. Exactly. I said this time and time again. I'm going to back Ollie this season. He's got his new players. I'm going to see what Ollie does. But for me, there's 3 things Ollie's got to do this season. Okay, he's got to learn that MCFRED are not that good and play a more interesting style of football. He's got to make his subs early. I want to see, if we're 0-0, I want to see a sub in the 60th minute, not the 85th minute. And he's got to rotate the squad more. Pep and Tuchel rotated Chelsea and Man City a lot, and they won a Champions League and a Premier League. We didn't rotate. I want to see, you know, if we're 0-0, Donny coming on from McTominay in the 60th minute and we pushing forward for a goal, risking losing to win. I want to see maybe Fred start this game, but Donny and Matic start next game. I want to see maybe Martial come in and Greenwood on the right and Sancho on the left, and then maybe the next game Greenwood striker, Sancho on the right, you know, Pogba on the left. I want to see rotation. That's what I want to see. You know, rotating only means maybe rotate 1 or 2 players, maybe give Delo 1 or 2 games just to help Wan-Bissaka be fully fresh, save Wan-Bissaka for the big games. But yeah, Rueben, Neves or Southampton don't waste time on Camavinga, says Jonas. I would 100% get Camavinga, but I think if we do get Camavinga, he's not going to start for us. Like, he's going to be a Donny van der Beek, and he would be thrown in the other 23s, possibly get the, let's say, the treatment that, what do you call him? Amad Diallo gets. Brain is gone, where he just doesn't really get the chance to gain that many chances and all of that. There is news about Mbappe to Manchester United, by the way, guys, but I haven't really wanted to cover it in this video because I just believe that we're never going to get Mbappe. Look, if we are going to get Mbappe, come back to this in a year's time, clip this video if we do end up signing Mbappe, but I could put £100 on that we will never sign Mbappe. Maybe not never, maybe in 5 years when we're Champions League winners again, you know, being optimistic, probably not with the Glazers, but yeah. He was a surprise signing for Spurs, was he? I need to keep an eye on other news, but I haven't been on Twitter all day. I've been literally out all day, so I literally haven't had time to actually look at football news and what's going on in the football world at the moment. Our scouts are shit. No way. They are pretty shit. No, I don't think our scouts are shit. I feel like our scouts have recommended good players. On board, it's just shit. De Gea, Shaw, Maguire, around Wan-Bissaka, Matic, Donny, Pogba, Sancho, Greenwood. That's the starting 11. I want to see that. Mr. Sancho. There is a second leg, so they're not out of it completely. There is a second leg in the Spurs game, which is interesting to see. Pep Guardiola is also pretty bad at subs. Pep rotates. Like Pep roulette is mad. Like, that's why people don't use that many City players on fantasy, because of Pep roulette and stuff. And City going for Vlahovic rumours instead of Kane. Are they? I haven't heard that rumour, but I need to actually have a proper browse of Twitter. I haven't looked at Twitter for like the last 24 hours, so any news that's come out today, I'm not fully up to date with it other than Man United news. So I can't really talk too much about other football teams. Would think Mbappe is off to Real. Can't see us getting him or blowing up our wage structure to do, despite how good he is, and I agree with that. And Dank says Southampton going to win 2-0, Armstrong and Adams. Bold statement. Look, if we don't beat Southampton, if we don't get 3 points versus Southampton, I'll be very, very disappointed, because I'll go same old United. You can win a game and then you drop points against a team that should be an easy 3 points. Now, last season, we did drop a few points, but we didn't, you know, we went on a streak where we beat Villa, we beat Newcastle. If we want to challenge for a title, we need to be winning the opening 7 games of the season, without a doubt. Let me show you the opening 7 games of the season. You know, if we want to win a title, these are the games. Look, let me get this on my screen here. Let me zoom in for you guys as well. Boom. Okay, we played Leeds, so we got 3 points. Okay, we can. Look, we need to be winning all these games. Okay. So Leeds, we won. Southampton, we should win. I think they're weaker than last season with Vestergaard and Ings going. Wolves, I think we should win again. New manager. They lost to Leicester. Again, I don't think they're as strong as last season. Newcastle, I think we should definitely beat them. We normally have problems scoring loads of goals against Newcastle. West Ham could be tough, but I don't think West Ham will do as well this season. And that is on my birthday, so we better beat West Ham. That's my 21st. But I also look at the situation against West Ham and go, hopefully we win. Also, they might get tired, because I think that's when the Europa League starts. Aston Villa, again, I think we should beat them. They've lost Grealish. I know they're a good team. I know they've got good owners. And Everton, we can beat them 4-0 in pre-season. We should beat them. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. I think we should be getting 3 points from these opening 7 games if we wanted to win a title. Realistically, if we get 20 or 19 or 18 points from the opening 7 games, it's not bad. You're normally looking top of the league. But if we really want to put a fight on, we would want to get 21 out of 21 points for the opening 7 games. Because then, let's say we lost to Liverpool, you know, if we don't beat Liverpool, it's not a big of a deal, because now we've got to go from the opening 7 games. Well, if say we get 21 points from the opening 7 games, then we can go into Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Man City pretty confident. So say we only get 6 points versus Leicester and City, like 3 points versus City, 3 points versus Leicester, and let's say we draw to Spurs, so we get 7 points from a potential, let's say 12, you're still looking at 28 points in the opening sort of 11 games of the season, which is good. So, you know, I think that's the situation as well. We should be winning the opening games, but very, very hard games. We've got a break with Watford, then we go straight to Chelsea, Arsenal, and then Crystal Palace, Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley, Wolves, Villa, West Ham, Burnley, United. That's such an easy run again. And then we go to Man City, to Tottenham, to Liverpool, to Leicester. Like, they give us 4 hard games in a row. Everton, Norwich, then Arsenal. So pretty easy games. Chelsea second last game of the season. This is the thing. Second last game of the season, Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to finish above us, and I think City are going to finish above us. But this could be like, you never know. This game here could be a title deciding game. Like, you never know. You just don't. Let's have a look, actually. What if they put a predicted lineup out for this game? They have not. I'm going to go to SofaScore, Manchester United. By the way, guys, any questions for me, pop them down below in the live chat. Subscribe to the channel, share this video, and all of that. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe down below if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I do daily Manchester United content on the channel, so if you don't want to miss out, do go and subscribe. I'll be live tomorrow. I'll be live for watch along and match reaction on Sunday as well, so do make sure you're subscribed. Let me zoom in on that. Bada bing, bada boom. You got a stupid bet ad there. I don't like to advertise betting companies, but that's not me. That's the website. Diego says only 47 likes needed for 150 likes, so yeah, please do like and subscribe, by the way. I'm telling you, Ollie will make Donny and Matic successor if we don't sign a DM and we win the league. Well, you know what? I'm going to hold you to this comment, Sancho, because I really hope you're right. I'm going to hold you to this comment because I pray that you're right. Man United fans need to stop being negative Nancy's. We are better than this. Varane knows what he's here for. I love Man United. And you know what? What I like about Varane is he's got this winning attitude. You know, Rafael Varane, he's won it all. He's won Champions League, he's won Premier Leagues. Rafael Varane does have a winning attitude, and I think that's something that will be very, very good for Manchester United. I think Bruno has a world-class mentality. I think Pogba, some people don't like to believe it, but I think Pogba has a good attitude, believe it or not. Pogba has a winning attitude. I think we've got a lot of players with winning attitudes at Manchester United, which I think is going to be really, really important, you know, coming into the season and stuff. And I think Varane's mentality, Bruno's mentality, you know, they're not just great players, but I think their mentality will lift the team. They won't allow us to be losing in a game. And I did think, you know, if you really look at last season, the amount of games that we went in 1-0 down at half time that we ended up winning, I think a lot of that has to be down to mentality. You have to give Ollie credit for that. But a lot of the games we were losing at half time that we ended up to win has to come down to mentality. And to add Varane's mentality to that, and Sancho, a hungry young player's mentality to that, I do think, you know, boom. And the one thing about United is whenever we go behind or we concede a goal, I'm not worried because I know this team can score goals. I know when Ollie takes his foot off the brake and goes, McTominay, Fred, get up the pitch, attack, let's stop this back six shit, we can score. And that's what frustrated me last season because we got a lot of 0-0s last season. 2 versus Chelsea, 1 versus Arsenal, 1 versus City, 1 versus Liverpool, 1 versus Palace. We got a lot of 0-0s last season. I think we got 1 versus Spurs as well. And it frustrated me because I know when Man United want to score goals, they can score goals. And if any of those 0-0s, Ollie took his foot off the brake and just attacked and went for that goal, I think we would have won a lot of those 0-0 games, especially teams like Arsenal that aren't that good. You know, and I think I'm not too worried going into the season because we've got the mentality to turn any game around. We know if we go behind, we've got the mentality to score. In the past, when we would go behind, we couldn't break down teams. We couldn't score. 2 seasons ago, one of our biggest problems was not being able to break down teams, and we couldn't score when we went behind. But now we actually know when we want to score goals, we can score goals as well. Alice, why are people saying Rafael Varane will be a flop at Man United fan? I think Varane is the best. It's only rival fans saying Varane will be a flop because they're salty and because he had a bad Champions League game against Man City once. So they try and hold that against us. They try and hold everything against United because they're salty. Our scouts are good, they just don't get listened to. We had a head scout, Ruben, left the club, but he said as much. Yeah, literally, our scouts have scouted some good players. We just don't get listened to because the owners don't want to buy half the players they scout. We played 4-3 versus Southampton 3-0. Yeah, everybody in the live chat, I want to get all of you guys watching involved. What is your score prediction for Manchester United versus Southampton? I'm really intrigued to see what you guys predict. I'm going to say 3-1 United. I think James Ward-Prowse will score a free kick, but I think we'll win 3-1. We'll score 3 goals, and I fancy Greenwood and Bruno to be on the score sheet. And I fancy Sancho to get an assist, you know. So I'm going to go 3-1 United as my prediction. So everybody comment your prediction down below. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, do click that subscribe button because we've got 10 days left of the transfer window. And if you want to stay up to date with all the transfer news regarding Manchester United, if you want to know if we're going in for a player, if you want to know if we made talks for a player, if we're going to sign a player, if we sell a player, I will let you know on this channel. So if you want to stay up to date on the last 10 days of the transfer window, knowing who we might sign, who we might sell, what are we doing, if we've got a new transfer target coming in, are we going to make a deadline day signing, do subscribe because there's going to be a long deadline day live stream. There's going to be transfer news update live streams throughout this week, so please do subscribe if you're not subscribed. I can only keep saying that. Hit that like button as well. But I'm just ready to see some of you guys is score predictions. Of course, I love Bruno. I don't get why some United fans have a problem with Bruno Fernandes. It's like some United fans are not United fans, they're Pogba fans. And I'm a Pogba fan, but I'm a United fan. I put United ahead of Paul Pogba. Where just because they want to say that Pogba's our best player, they will want to slate Bruno so they can prove a point that Pogba's better. You know what? Pogba on his day is probably better than Bruno, but Bruno is a better player for United because he adds more to the team, whether you like it or not. I don't get why some United fans have Bruno agendas. Very, very tough run for us as well. When does your CL fixture start? I would assume come September after the international break. It really pisses me off. We have 3 games and a sodding international break. Like I don't want to see this shit. You like Alan Saint-Maximin. He's a very, very good, skillful player. Yeah, I would trade Daniel James for Saint-Maximin in a heartbeat. But again, I don't think we need him at United. But I think he's a very, very quality player. UCL starts 14th of September. I assumed it would be September. So super, super excited. By the way, the UCL draw is on Thursday. I'm going to be live on Thursday doing a Champions League live stream. So on Thursday, we're talking all about the Champions League. I'm going to be talking about my expectations for Man United in the Champions League. We're going to be reacting to the group because they're going to draw a group for the Champions League on Thursday. So we're talking about expectations for the Champions League group. I'm going to be reacting to the Champions League draw and all of that on Thursday's live stream. So for a big Champions League live stream, do subscribe to the channel because we're going to be talking about who's going to be the top scorer, who's going to win the Champions League, how will Man U do in the Champions League. We'll do some predictions. We'll be talking about Europe, something that Arsenal can't do this season. You know, it's going to be a big Champions League live stream. So as well, do subscribe to stay tuned for Thursday's Champions League live stream and obviously the transfer updates this week and the watch along on Sunday. Don't forget the fixture list will change a lot once the League Cup and FA Cup and Champions League all start. You do make a solid point there, Nick, as well. And Adam Haynes say that fans think move to a single pivot is essential. A team can still become more free-flowing and attacking with 2 pivots, just comes down to how often one goes and one stays. I think what you mean by that point is like when we played Fred and McTominay in the pivot, but Fred's dropped deep, which has allowed McTominay to go forward, it's been successful. I think you can play well with 2 players in the pivot if you have that one player that does go forward and does that attacking job. I just think with Fred and McTominay, they're too defensive, and I think they're not. And I think McTominay is quite good when he goes forward, and I think the reason they are defensive is because Ollie tells them to be defensive to protect. McTominay and Fred, definitely. But I can't remember. There's going to be games tomorrow. When are Premier League games? But yeah, I know. I get your point. I'm actually going to see what games are on tomorrow. What time is the Chelsea-Arsenal game as well? So we've got the Man City games tomorrow at 3. Chelsea-Arsenal at 4:30 on the Sunday as well, which would be interesting. I might do a watch-along to Chelsea. Not watch-along, but I might do a reaction to Chelsea-Arsenal as well on the second channel. 3-0 United. This is what I was talking about, score predictions. 3-0. I'm going 3-1, but my dream would be to win by 5-0 and just batter a team. 4-0, 4-1 United. Sancho, 1 goal, 1 assist. I would love that. Absolutely love it if Sancho gets a goal and assist before Grealish as well. I think that would be just funny. I want Sancho to get goal and assist anyway, but I just love Sancho to just get goal and assist through his hands. I love that we have Bruno. I love that we have Bruno. Everybody get your score predictions down below and all of that. And Diego says he can't see his Palace taking 4 points off United. I live in the real world. I can't believe Palace got 4 points off United last season. I mean, to be fair, Palace were very, very lucky with the timing they played United. Obviously, they had us for our first game of the season. We had no pre-season, so you're very, very lucky with the timing of your first game. But the second time we played Palace, that 0-0, we were fucking awful. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be getting 6 out of 6 points versus Palace come the season. And Jadon Sanchez says Varane will not only make our defence solid, but will also free up Wan-Bissaka, allowing him to go forward and seeing service come deep from the right-hand side adds Sancho's creativity to that. Yeah, I agree with you there. That's a very, very solid point. And Alice, doing a double over Arsenal this time will be glory for you, I guess. The thing is, like, Ollie has not beaten Arteta. Gunnar Solskjaer has not beaten Arteta. Okay, maybe Arteta is maybe a little bit smarter than Ollie, you know, in the sense of that he makes a sub in that 0-0 game, and Arsenal got better in the second half when we were all over in the first half. But I sit here and I think, Ollie, Arsenal have come 8th 2 seasons in a row, and you can't beat this shit team. I swear, if we don't get a minimum of 4 points versus Arsenal this season, I'm gonna be mad, because they've spent 150 million and their team's barely improved. Ours has. They're a mid-table club thinking they can maybe get top 6 because they're gonna have less games than their rivals for top 6. Imagine if we don't get any points versus Arsenal. We have to beat Arsenal. At least get a win and a draw versus them. And just says, I have no concerns with Varane at all with that CV and attributes. Probably one of the most sure signings we have made in a long time. Exactly. I don't get why people are worried about Varane. We've needed a centre-back. Maguire is so good next to Stones, so good next to Bailly, but isn't always good next to Lindelof. Varane has pace, Varane has experience. What are our weaknesses defending? Okay, let's name United's weaknesses defending. Okay, maybe experience and positioning, and maybe something to do with the coaching. You're thinking, why is Lindelof there? Why is Maguire there? Okay, Varane's got experience. You know, he's won it all. He's going to improve the experience and positioning. Set pieces is another defensive weakness, especially with Lindelof getting pushed to the ball. Varane is 6'4", very, very good in the air. Okay, well, that's a weakness done. And pace at the back. Pace at the back when Lindelof's playing. 3 things, okay? That's the 3 main weaknesses. Let's name some more weaknesses in the defence. Wan-Bissaka tucks in to protect Lindelof. With Varane, Wan-Bissaka's positioning should improve. With Varane, Maguire should improve. So, again, a 4th thing is players should improve with Varane. And a 5th good thing about Varane coming in is when you play Varane and Maguire, you don't need to play MCFRED, or at least play MCFRED so deep. You could play MCFRED with Varane and Maguire at the back. But because Varane and Maguire will not need as much protection as Lindelof and Maguire, they might say to McTominay, you get forward while Fred stays back. Because when McTominay and Fred play in the pivot and McTominay gets forward, they're not that bad in the pivot. Like, McTominay is a good player and Fred is a good player. But when they have to play together in this negative, boring role, they're not good. I think Fred and Donny would be really, really good in the pivot. I think it would work fantastically. Would Ollie ever play it? Probably not. But yeah, so many positives about signing Varane. It's absolutely mad. Axman says he loves that we have Bruno. I love that we have Bruno. If you're a United fan, you have to support any player that wears a United shirt. Exactly. Look, there's players at Manchester United that I don't like. Phil Jones, okay? But if Phil Jones puts on a United shirt, I'm really hoping he puts in a 10 out of 10 performance and proves me wrong. When Phil Jones puts on a United shirt, I'm hoping that he turns into Virgil van Dijk and proves me wrong. Just because I don't like Phil Jones and I don't want him at the club doesn't mean that I ever want him to play bad. I would rather Phil Jones play for United, be like Virgil van Dijk, and I'd be sitting here in a year's time going, I can't believe I wanted Phil Jones out. He's better than Van Dijk. Than Phil Jones putting on a United shirt, putting in a mirror, and I could go, at least I was right, because I love United, and no matter who the player is, I'm going to back the player. I'm going to want them to play well, and you know what? If they have a bad game, we're right to criticise that. You can never abuse players. You can never send players hateful messages on social media. You can never call them slurs or anything, but you can criticise the performance. But when a player puts on a United shirt, whether you like the player or not, you should back them because they're our player. You should like them. When we brought Maguire for 80 million, I was like, what a waste of money. But I was like, I'm going to back Maguire. I'm going to hope he does well. When we brought Cavani, I was annoyed. I thought Cavani was another Falcao, but I was like, I'm going to back Cavani. I'm going to hope he do well. I'm not going to have anything against Cavani. And I think that's what you've got to be like with players. Who do you think will have a better season than Grealish or Sancho? I think just because Grealish is more experienced and had a year in the Premier League, I think Grealish will have probably a better season. But I think in 2 seasons' time, we're going to be saying maybe 3 seasons' time, we might be seeing Sancho as a better player because you've got to remember Grealish has that Premier League experience. He's going to be playing in a better system and he's a little bit older than Sancho, whereas Sancho might need a year to adapt. So I'd say maybe this season Grealish, but I think future seasons Sancho will end up being a better signing. I'm sorry, if you don't like Bruno, don't call yourself a Man United fan. Since that guy joined us, United have rejuvenated the squads and everyone plays better around him. Again, I 100% agree with this comment. People that have Bruno agendas are stupid. And as Andrew says, both are good players. I would argue Bruno is better. He came in straight away and made an impact on the same squad. Too many agendas. Just judge players how they perform for us. Yeah, there's too many Bruno haters in the United fan base and I don't get it. Sancho for top scorer, Fernandes for top scorer. He takes penalties and we get a lot of penalties. The good thing about Jadon Sancho is I saw a stat somewhere that Jadon Sancho won a shit ton of penalties in the Bundesliga as well. Which, so, you know, that always helps United as well. And Fred and McTominay are really useful in big games. You say that, but are they though? Maybe Man City they were because we counter-attacked, but 0-0 Arsenal. I lost to Arsenal. I lost to Spurs. and you know, a 2-0 with Chelsea, a 0-0 with Liverpool, a 0-0 with Manchester City, and a loss to Liverpool. We were crap in big games last season, and McTominay started all of them. So personally, I wouldn't agree with that. 5-0. People saying 5-0, 3-0, 4-0. I was just looking at a few of the score predictions as well. Pav says McTominay and Fred are good enough to be in a title-winning squad, not starting week in, week out, but they can be useful. I think McTominay and Fred are good enough to be in a title-winning squad if they're not playing in the pivot week in, week out. I think if you could play McTominay and Donny, or Fred and Donny, or they're bench players and you rotate them in and out as a bit of rest, I think if you get a top CDM and McTominay and Fred get rotated in every now and then, or top CDM and McTominay plays a box-to-box Soucek role and Rice is CDM, then yeah, but they're good enough to be in maybe a Premier League winning team, but I don't think they're good enough to be the pivot throughout the whole season like Ollie wants them to be. I don't think we could, if we're going to play McFred week in, week out the pivot, I don't think we'll win the Premier League unless Chelsea flop and Man City don't get Kane. We need 6 points off a team like Arsenal. We do. And we should be getting 6 points off Arsenal. No offence, Diego. We should be getting 6 points off Palace this year round. Too many points we've dropped. I'm trying to think, who else do we drop stupid points to? We normally drop points to Wolves as well, but I think we got 2 wins versus them last season. Everton, we dropped points to them a lot. One of the big games we didn't use McTominay and Fred, we got battered by Spurs. That was the first game of the season. And Andrew says, I'm not bothered with Arsenal. We'll finish ahead of them anyway. Plenty of times Liverpool took points off us under Sir Alex Ferguson. Look at us during title, won so many. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather Arsenal batter us than finish above us. So, yeah. Do you know what always makes me laugh? It was last season. It was I think it was the 3rd or 4th game last season that we lost to Arsenal. And they were loving it on AFTV. Arsenal fans on AFTV were acting like they won the league when they beat us 1-0. They were actually acting like they won the league when they beat us 1-0 on AFTV. They were like, take your time with it. And they were like dancing, and I think it was DT or one of them was going, or maybe Troops. It was like, you're going to finish 10th blood or something like that. And they were like, you're going to finish 10th. You know, Arteta the man, and take your time with it. And they were mocking us. They were saying we were shit. And what did we do? We finished 2nd. What did they do? They finished 8th. And you know what? They beat United and thought they won the Champions League. You're not even in the Champions League. So, you know, it's always funny, actually, with Arsenal. Because I'm like, you know what? I'd happily lose to Arsenal if it meant we're just going to finish above them for, like, the 5th year in a row. Many troll for Arsenal for Ramsdale transfer, but he got relegated with Sheffield Bournemouth. You know what? I'd love this Ramsdale thing to be a curse, you know, a 3-year curse. Be absolutely banter. But look, as much as we like to banter Arsenal, if they get relegated, then that would be absolutely embarrassing. I'd actually feel sorry for them. Wan-Bissaka needs to prove his positioning. End of 100% agree. People say Wan-Bissaka's weakness is attacking. Wan-Bissaka's weakness is not attacking. Like Wan-Bissaka got more goal contributions than Reece James and Kyle Walker combined last season. If you add up Kyle Walker's assists, if you add up Reece James' assists, Wan-Bissaka still got more than the both of them. Okay? Like, okay, does he look great going forward? No. Does he swing in brilliant crosses like Trent? No, but he's not designed to do that. Wan-Bissaka's weakness is his positioning. And I think his weakness is positioning because with Lindelof, he has to give Lindelof that protection and tuck in to protect Lindelof. I genuinely think with Varane coming in and being more experienced, he might be like, Wan, I don't need you here. Go out. Go there. Because I think once Wan-Bissaka's positioning improves, he'll just be a better player. I think his attacking output is improving. I think his attacking output improved last season. And I think with Sancho, you know, maybe linking up him on the right, maybe we won't see that to the second half of the season when Rashford's permanently back. They could form a good partnership like Luke Shaw and Rashford have a good partnership. But I just think the more and more I look at it, I just go, Wan-Bissaka's weakness is positioning, not his attacking. I think the Wan-Bissaka can't attack is a myth. I think he's not as good as Trent at attacking. I don't think he's a brilliant at attacking, but I don't think he's as bad at attacking as people think. Please do smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new to the channel. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do subscribe down below. We've got 10 days left of the transfer window, and I'm going to be updating you on all the transfer news that comes in the next 10 days. If we sign a player, if we go in for a player, if we're close to signing a player, if we make any moves for a player, if we make any bids, if we sell a player, if we loan a player, if any possible deals are going to happen in the next 10 days, I will update you on the channel. So do subscribe to stay up to date with the latest transfer news. This is the Southampton preview. Tomorrow I will be live again. Sunday I'll be live for a match watch-along and match reaction for Manchester United versus Southampton. We've got some more football games to enjoy tomorrow. Alice, Lewandowski at 33 for 100 million or Kane at 28 for 150 million. Kane at 28 because he's 5 years younger and he's Premier League proven. Not that I think Lewandowski needs to prove himself. He's world class. Alexis Sonnet says, this window has so many midfield options at cut prices, and the fact that we haven't gone for any truly shows the ambition of the owners towards our club's success. 100%. I think we should have gone for a midfielder. There's so many. I completely agree with this comment. It's like for me, Sancho and Varane are great signings, but midfielder CDM should have even been priority over these players anyway. And I do think the fact that we didn't even go for these players, it does highlight the club and the way the club is run as well. I think it is very, very frustrating, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're just run by a load of dickheads, aren't we, guys? This is a really, really long live stream, but like, there's a possibility I might not be live tomorrow, so I'm going to drag this live stream on a little bit. And we've got a lot of chats. Who do you reckon will win the Golden Boot? A lot of people saying Lukaku. I do think with Werner getting a lot of assists and Chelsea having a good system, he could score goals. But I could see Lukaku, but I'm going to put Salah. I think Salah's always a safe bet for Golden Boot. I would say Salah. I think Man U's top goal scorer would be Bruno. Maybe if Kane goes to City and stays fit, then 100% he could be top goal scorer. But I think Salah is always a safe bet when you go for top goal scorer and you try and predict top goal scorer. Andrew says hopefully he will improve this season, but Scott probably only on a handful of truly top-notch performances last season. Yeah, I agree. I think Scott McTominay didn't put in that many world-class performances. I thought he was best player in a few games, like the Europa League final disgrace. But yeah. And Alexis on says Fred, Scott, Pogba and Donny are just 4 of our current main squad players who can only play box-to-box. Yeah, we all have a DM. Agree with this. And the thing that is frustrating is that when Fred played as a box-to-box next to Ronaldo, CDM and Casemiro, Fred was playing really well for Brazil. When Scott McTominay plays as a box-to-box and goes forward for Manchester United, he's had his best games, 9-0 Southampton, 6-2 Leeds. Donny, we know, is brilliant at box-to-box. Donny and Matic work perfectly. We obviously know how good Pogba is when he's freed up. You know, when Ollie was interim manager, Matic, Herrera, Pogba. Pogba played his best football post-lockdown. We played our best football with Matic, Pogba, Bruno as Pogba in a box-to-box. Even though Pogba's balling on the left, when Pogba plays in a box-to-box in the middle, he plays his best football. You know, that's what he does for France. And I go, one top CDM that comes in, you get the best out of McTominay, you get the best out of Fred, you get the best out of Donny, and most importantly, you get the best out of Paul Pogba. And Pogba can play on the left a little bit now, Rashford's out, but they're best out of Donny. And Donny and Bruno in the same team is brilliant. When Donny and Bruno play together, I think Manchester United average a goal of 37 minutes when Donny and Bruno are on the same pitch together. I saw that stat somewhere. I do need to check that for confirmation because it was just on Twitter, so I could be wrong. So don't take me for that. But I remember Donny came on versus Burnley, we scored 2 goals. Donny came on versus Spurs, we scored 2 goals. Donny came on versus Newcastle, we scored 3 goals. All when Donny and Bruno on the pitch together. Because a lot of times it's just Donny or it's just Bruno. But when Donny and Bruno play together, they link up really well as well. So imagine Pogba on the left, but let's say Donny box-to-box and Bruno as the cam. So Donny, Pogba and Bruno all linking up. Because Donny's a very, very intelligent player. He's got that Ajax Academy training in him. Like the 3 of them linking up well. And, you know, Donny plays well with Matic, but if you get an actual CDM that plays week in, week out, then you can be playing Donny. And with Varane at the back instead of Lindelof, you don't need that MCFRED protection, but with a top CDM, they would offer that MCFRED protection anyway. So, yeah, 100%. 100%. We need 4 points at least from Man City so Man City fans can keep quiet. I mean, look, we've had a really good record versus Manchester City right now in the Premier League. I'm absolutely loving it. Like, but they haven't beaten us the last 2 seasons in the Premier League. Hopefully we can keep that up. Hopefully Norwich can batter Manchester City as well. Any questions for me, guys? Pop them down below in the live chat and do subscribe to the channel. Put that notification bell on, subscribe down below, share this video, all of that. You know what to do. But we are talking a little bit about Donny van de Beek, a player that I would love to see involved tomorrow. I'd love to see Donny van de Beek involved, but again, I just can see MCFRED starting. I really can see MCFRED starting. I just hope that even if MCFRED start, he would sub Donny on, let's say, the 63 minutes in. So rather than giving Donny no time for 30 minutes to come on the pitch and actually have a take on the game, and that he doesn't bring Donny on for Bruno, he actually brings Donny on for McTominay or Fred so he can link up with Bruno. Because I would love to see Donny, Bruno and Pogba all on the same pitch with Matic as the CDM so we could get the best out of Donny in the box-to-box role. You know, I don't want to see Donny on the wing and Pogba central. I want to see Donny in that box-to-box role. I think it would work brilliantly. Andres Pereira has been sold on loan to Norwich City today, and James Garner has signed a new contract at Manchester United and will probably go out on loan to a Championship team or a Premier League team. In terms of news for United, that I thought I'd keep you guys updated on. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Tchouameni, the CDM we linked to a few days ago, will not join Manchester United, And, you know, we will only make a signing if we sell players. So there's a possibility we could make a Neves deadline day signing. There's a new story coming out that Manchester United want Neves, but they haven't been able to raise the funds. But with him only under £40 million, they think it's still possible to raise the funds. So there's always a chance there's a Neves, Camavinga, something on deadline day on the transfer front. Let's get the stream to 150 likes, guys. So please hit the like button if you haven't already. We don't know how Tchouaméni will do in the PL, plus many French watching fans say he's similar to Pogba. Yeah, we're not going to get him anyway. We've been told from Fabrizio Romano it's not going to happen. And JB says, hope you were good, Alice. I'm looking forward to the Southampton game this weekend, especially after the excellent performance against Leeds. Hopefully we can see a lot more of Sancho Varane. Look, I'm so excited because it's been a week without football and I'm already wanting it to go back. But I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the match. I'm like excited for the Man City Norwich match. I'm excited for all the fucking matches this weekend because it's been so long without football that even waiting a week for another game after we get a teaser bit versus Leeds, because we beat Leeds 5-1, because we signed Sancho Varane, because there's such a positive vibe around Manchester United, even though we haven't signed a CDM, I am literally so ridiculously excited for Sunday that I generally can't wait, guys. I can't wait. Sorry if my Wi-Fi is being a little bit laggy at the moment, but I do apologise for that. As JB says, it's frustrating that a top-quality CDM has not been signed because the midfield area really needs to be improved. Last season, we needed a CDM, we didn't get one. The season before, we needed a CDM, we didn't get one. The season before, we needed a Herrera and Fellaini replacement, we didn't get one. This season, we're probably not going to get CDM. It is a very frustrating situation. Here in Brazil, we think that the European doesn't care for the Club World Cup. There are rumours that it's irrelevant, and that's why you don't play the same countries. It's true. I think, I would love to win the Club World Cup as a trophy. I think it's such a cool trophy. But I don't think it's that important in Europe because we've got our main leagues, we've got the Champions League, that we can't always play the strongest lineup because we need to rest for other games. Pardon me. But yeah. Oh, I'm just so thirsty. Feel sad for Donny sitting on the bench. I've said this time and time again, guys. I said this time and time again. I think Donny could sit on the bench for the first 2 games of the season. But I think Donny will start versus Wolves. And the reason I think Donny will start versus Wolves, whether he'll start on Sunday, probably not. I think once Varane starts playing over Lindelof, there's less need for MCFRED because we don't need that Lindelof protection, which means more opportunities for Donny. We know Donny works well with MATIC. Donny's had a pre-season of Ollie. Donny's bulked up. He looks more ready. Ollie learned more about the player. Ollie's now playing as a box-to-box rather than Bruno replacement. So Ollie's learned more about the player. Donny played well versus Wolves last game of the season. I trust Donny in this game. You know, if Varane and Donny start versus Wolves, I wouldn't be surprised. So I think Donny could maybe not play at all versus Southampton, but I would expect Donny to play versus Wolves. But what I'm hoping is, even if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's say, doesn't start Donny van de Beek versus Southampton, you know, considering we beat Leeds 5-1, he's more than right to go with McFred if he feels that's the right choice. But even if, let's say, Donny doesn't start versus Southampton, I sit here and I think, okay, Donny van de Beek could get 30 minutes versus Southampton. We could go, okay, let's say we're 2-0 up versus Southampton or 3-0 up. We could say, okay, we're 3-0 up versus Southampton. You know, we might as well just do a few subs. Let's go, you know what, Fred, you come off. Let's give Donny a go. I want to see if Donny and McTominay work. He could go, okay, we're 3-0 up. We'll put Pogba off. We'll put Donny on the wing. Or he might even, he could do a lot of things. So, yeah. Ajax make all their midfielders play all positions, and Van der Sar, Donny's best spot is box-to-box, but he's good as a DM as well. We learned in pre-season that Donny can play in the pivot. We learned in pre-season that Donny van de Beek can do a very, very good job in the pivot for Manchester United. You know, I think we all know that. I think he's a great player, and I would like to see Donny in the pivot. I think that Donny and Fred could work. I think that Donny and a lot of players could work. You know, we've seen it in pre-season that Donny can work in the pivot. Subscribe, people, subscribe, says JB. Please do subscribe, by the way, if you are not subscribed, because 10 days left of the transfer window. And if we sell a player, there'll be a live stream. If we're close to buying a player, there'll be a live stream. Look, if we go in for a player, if we sign a player, if we're close to signing a player, if we make moves for any player, if we sell any player, there will be a live stream to update you guys. So if you want to know exactly what's happening towards the end of the transfer window, will there be a deadline day signing? Do subscribe. Definitely hope Donny plays this weekend. Even if he doesn't start, I think I'd like him to get more than 5 minutes or no minutes. And as mentioned earlier in the live stream, we're 26 games unbeaten away at the moment. 1 more win and we beat Arsenal's 2003-4 away record. Thoughts? I know, absolutely brilliant. Way to kick Arsenal when they're down. Losing to Brentford on the opening day. Probably going to get battered by Chelsea. However, they did beat Chelsea twice last season. And it'd be classic Chelsea to give Arsenal another 3 points. But yeah, Pereira has joined Flamengo. That was confirmed today on Twitter by United Romano. and everyone, we all knew that was coming. And guys, remember to smash that like button and sub to Alice Talks Football if you haven't already. We're trying to get 150 likes during the live stream. Yeah, this is an extra long live stream. My live streams are normally between 50 minutes and an hour. I normally do my live streams are normally around the 52-minute mark, but this is going to be an hour and a half live stream because I won't be live tomorrow night. I might be live tomorrow during the day if any relevant news comes out, but I won't be live. I won't be doing my 7:45 p.m. live tomorrow night. So this is why this is a super long live stream. But of course, I will be live on Sunday with the watch along to Man United Southampton. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to see me react to the Southampton game and you want to watch the Southampton game with me, do subscribe, because in my watch alongs I just like to read out the live chat. I like to watch the game, react to the game, tell you guys who's playing well, but I also like to react to the live chat. So feel free to subscribe because there will be a big watch along on Sunday. Donny and Bruno would be our preferred midfield if we had a class DM, hence the reason Pogba is always pushed to the left wing and MCFRED is on our midfield pivot. You know, I really want to see Donny and Bruno and MATIC just the midfield three with Pogba on the left. So Donny, Bruno and Pogba can all link up, because with Matic playing, Donny gets that freedom. We know Donny and Bruno work together. We know Pogba and Bruno work together. I would really like to see that, but you make a really good point there, Alexis Son. I'd love to see it. And Van der Beek needs to play against Southampton to show us how much he's improved. Exactly. He looked great in pre-season. I think it's unfair if Donny Van der Beek does not play first 3 games of the season and we go into international break with Donny Van der Beek not getting a minute, despite being brilliant in pre-season, I'll be really frustrated with Ollie because I feel like he hasn't changed as a manager. Last season, Ollie's mistake was not rotating, because towards the end of the season when it really mattered, our best players were tired. Our best players were nowhere near their best. You know, the lack of trust in new players, and I think that's what cost Ollie last season, the lack of subs, the lack of rotation, the lack of wanting to change. And if we go into this season with MCFRED for the first 3 games, late subs, no changing, and we go into the international break like that, I feel like, has Ollie learned? And all that. Herrera's playing right now for PSG, man. I wish he was still a United player. He would slip right back into our team. Exactly. Herrera was a big miss, you know. This player, like when we sold Lukaku, it wasn't really a big miss to me because Martial had a really good season that season that we sold Lukaku. We got 17 Premier League goals, more than Lukaku had ever got. You know, I didn't think Lukaku was a miss, but I've always felt that Herrera was a miss. I think that was it was the board's fault we lost Herrera, but. Yeah, Andrew says also at the moment Europe has by far the strongest clubs. Non-European clubs can't compete against them as of late. Yeah, 100%. And Niall Kane says, are you taking the day off live streaming tomorrow, or should you do a Chelsea versus Banter FC stream? Is Chelsea Banter FC tomorrow or Sunday? I won't be live tomorrow night because I am literally out. I've got plans. It's my friend's birthday. So if there's any relevant news, I could be live at, like, let's say 5, 6 o'clock. Could be live at 4 o'clock. So this is why this is a super long live stream today, because I probably won't be live tomorrow, but I'm 100% live on Sunday for the watch along and match reaction. I'm going to be live for like 4 hours on Sunday for the watch along and match reaction. So yeah, Donny will not stay beyond the season unless he gets proper minutes. He's too good to be content on our bench, says Andrew. 100%. I feel like we got Donny because we panicked that Pogba was going, and then I don't know. I'm like, if we don't play Donny Van der Beek this season, I'm really going to question why did we sign Donny Van der Beek if he doesn't get minutes this season. But hopefully he does. Hopefully he does. But Pereira the deal is on loan. Donny needs to threaten to leave, possibly. Donny looks too peaceful, too calm, too nice. Donny is too nice. Rennes will be pushing for Camavinga exit as they don't want to lose him on a free. Thus, Man United move is still possible if PSG don't sweep it. 100%. The Camavinga to Man United move is very, very possible. And the problem with this is, if Camavinga doesn't want United, it's never going to happen. And Camavinga can't go to Spain because of financial difficulties. Camavinga can go to PSG, but he's going to have a lot of competition to get in that midfield, and they've just signed Messi, and they would have to kind of then financial fair play to get him. And Camavinga wants to leave Rennes, and Rennes want him to leave, and Rennes' agent is pushing for him to join Man United, but he's making no interest in joining Man United despite talks, despite contact with United, which makes you think that maybe Camavinga doesn't want United. There's 2 reasons. Either he doesn't want United, or you have to remember he's 18. This is his big decision. You know, no one rushes into what uni they go to. No one rushes in when they leave school saying, do I want to do apprenticeship? Do I want to work? Do I want to go to uni? Everyone has a big decision to make at 18. And this is like his leaving school decision. It's like Rennes was his school. Now he goes into the real world. He's like, what have I got to do? And maybe he's taking time over that decision, or maybe he doesn't want United. I really hope Martial gets back to his best and scores loads of goals this season. Yeah, I'm a massive Martial fan. People don't realise I rate Martial. I think he could, on his day, he's one of our best players. I think he has world-class ability in him. I'm a big Martial fan, and I want to see the best out of Anthony Martial because I think he's got a lot to offer if he plays his best football. Because people don't realise this about Martial. 17 non-penalty goals in the Premier League is the most we've got post Sir Alex Ferguson. Only Danny Ings got more non-penalty goals than him in the 1920 season. Bear in mind, he missed 2 months of injury. You had Fred and Lingard for service for half the season, and Lingard was crap back then. Sorry, not Fred. Pereira and Lingard. You know, Martial's a good player. He's just lacking confidence, and I really hope that we see that ice-cold pony back. I really hope. Sunday, Alice, sorry I forgot to add which day Banter FC Chelsea game is. I might do maybe not a watch long because I'll be doing a watch long and match reaction for the United game, but I might do a match reaction for Chelsea Arsenal. And I just missed a comment. Lukaku is going to have. Look, you know what? I really want Lukaku to be successful at Chelsea. Not because, even though they're a rival club, even though he left us, because I just think that he's a good player and I like Lukaku. Whether he was great for United or not, I like the player and I want him to play well. He's a player because he's a United player. You know, even if you leave United, as long as you're not Di Maria, I want you to play well. And I would love Lukaku to get an absolute hat-trick against Banter FC. To be fair, I'd actually want Arsenal to beat Chelsea, even though I probably prefer Chelsea to Arsenal just because I really like winning at Arsenal. I want Arsenal to beat Chelsea because in a title race, Chelsea, Liverpool and City are our rivals. Arsenal are not going to be in a title race. Even if maybe some of the AFTV guys think that Arsenal could be in a title race, they're not. So I actually do want I actually do want Arsenal to win though. Because there's no way Arsenal are going to be in a title race. I mean, like, Arsenal might be in a top 6 race at most. I don't know about Camavinga. I don't think we need him unless Pogba leaves. I just think if we get Camavinga, we won't play him. That's the only thing. And Camavinga knows Oli will bench him if he comes. Exactly. This is the thing. We could sign Camavinga and he could just be a new Amad Diallo. We play the dead ball over him. He goes out on loan. He doesn't get the minutes. And Camavinga, I guess, is another box-to-box midfielder. He's not. The thing about it is, like, Camavinga is probably the most possible midfielder we could get in the summer. Camavinga and Neves, if we're going to sign a midfielder, probably the 2 most likely. But Camavinga is the most likely just because we've actually expressed talks and he is a dream signing and it doesn't so much depend on outs. But it's like, if you sign Camavinga, 1, he's not an out-and-out box DM, so he can't hold in his own and, you know, free up Donny and do what Prime MATIC can do yet. He could possibly in the future. 2, we know with Oli, he's reluctant to play new players, especially inexperienced players. He could be an Amad Diallo. He could be a Donny van de Beek where he plays well, but he doesn't get the minutes he deserves. And, like, 3, I think he's a great signing. But, yeah, I think there's always question marks about, is Camavinga the guy? Honestly, Pellistri is already better than Martial. I disagree with that. I think Pellistri outshone Daniel James, but I think Martial is clear of Pellistri. I don't think that's a comparison that should be made. And Jadon Sancho says Oli needs to change his stance and play more younger age players. Look at Real Madrid when they signed Varane, giving him first team football at 18 years of age. Exactly. If you know, if you're good enough, you're old enough. It doesn't matter about age. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Camavinga is top quality. He's one for the future. I still have my doubts if he fit right into the squad. Plus, he doesn't. He prefer a move to Rumjad Pishy. Yeah, that's the problem with Camavinga. If he doesn't want us, we shouldn't risk getting him. What are the Mbappe links? Look, there's Mbappe Man United links, but we get linked to everyone. Look, I think when Cavani leaves, we'll go in for Haaland. If there's Haaland links to Manchester United, I will cover it on this channel. I'll 100% believe it, but I don't think we're going to go for Mbappe. If we sign Mbappe, if I think we're going to sign Mbappe, I'll make a video on it. If there's any chance we could get Mbappe, I'll make a video on it. But I think it's a load of crap. I think it's Mbappe load of crap, if you want my honest opinion. For me, it's not going to happen. I think it's just a page for the story. It's just news is a bit dead on Man United. Let's say they're going to get Mbappe. It's never going to happen. Haaland to United, I said it time and time again, can happen. Mbappe, no. His tackle numbers are good for a lone number 6. You have good interceptions. Camavinga has never played as a lone 6. Yep. And Alice, what's your highest like number on a stream? Have you ever been higher than 150? I think I've had over 150 likes on a stream. No, I think I've had over 300 likes on a stream and 150 likes on a video. Glory, glory, Man United. And guys, what can I say? We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league. I know it's only week 1, but again, United are top of the league. By the way, guys, we've got over 100 people watching. If you are not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, you've seen my face and you're not subscribed and you're like, you know what, I kind of like this content, please do subscribe down below because I do daily Manchester United content on the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, 10 days left of the transfer window. I don't know if we're done yet, if we're going to sign a player, if we're close to signing a player, if we're going to sell a player, if we go in for talks for any players, if we make a bid for any player, I'll be live to update you guys. So any news that happens, if we make any moves, anything that happens regarding Manchester United, I will be live to update you guys. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe if you want to stay up to date with news. I do match previews, match reactions, and watch-alongs, all the games coming up. This is the Southampton preview and a little bit of an interactive live stream. I do my match previews to be really interactive with you. I talk about the lineup that could play and all of that. So do subscribe for that. But obviously, I'm going to be live on Sunday for a watch-along. for Manchester United. Have a good evening, everyone. See you on Sunday's game. Yeah, see everybody on Sunday's game. And I am going to wrap up the live stream here, but we've got over 100 people watching and we need 8 more likes for 150 likes. So guys, if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and smash that like button. 8 more likes for 150 likes. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe because I'm going to be live on Sunday. If any interesting, relevant, big news comes out tomorrow, there will be a transfer news live stream tomorrow if news comes out. If there's no news that comes out that's relevant, I won't be live tomorrow. But I will 100% be live on Sunday for the United Southampton match preview, and we'll be doing a reaction to that match. So make sure to subscribe for that. It's going to be a big live stream on Sunday. And any questions in the live chat you guys have for me that I didn't answer, I promise I will try and answer in Sunday's video. In my watch along, I'm going to answer a load of my live chats that I didn't answer in today's video. So if you are not subscribed to the channel and you had any questions for me which I did not answer, go subscribe and just comment it in Sunday's watch along, because I'm going to be live on Sunday for a watch along, interacting with you guys in the chat, telling you what's happening in the game, telling you who's played good, telling you who's played bad, having a bit of banter as well. So, you know, do subscribe for all of that. We're 3 likes away from 150 likes, so do subscribe. Subscribe to the channel before you leave. Hit that like button. Share this video. Thanks everybody for watching. My score prediction is 3-1 Manchester United. I think this lineup will feature that is on the screen versus Southampton. Hopefully Varane could get some minutes, but I'm excited for the game. I hope you're excited for the game. Thanks everybody for tuning into today's live chat. All the live chats were brilliant. I know this was an extra long live stream. I'm normally only live for an hour, but as I said, I won't be live tomorrow night unless any breaking news comes out. Unless we sign a player, we're close to signing a player, I probably won't be live tomorrow, so I will probably see you on Sunday. But yeah, like, subscribe, share, bye. See you next time.